On this edition of the show, we discussed a recent pronouncement by Manny Pacquiao's longtime strength and conditioning coach, Justin Fortune, who said that he swears that he won't already or he won't anymore be stepping foot inside the wild card gym in Los Angeles after being blamed by Freddie Roach for the Filipino icon's cramps during the recent fight against WBA welterweight super champion Yordenes Ugas in Las Vegas. And looking at how the interview with Justin Fortune went, Justin Fortune is a very, very angry guy. Ryan.
Yeah, it's just funny how everything, all these partnerships, all these tenuous relationships, they run smoothly until someone loses. So that's when the blame game, starts, because everyone has to sort of secure their own spot on a team, and they don't want to seem like they were the weak link. So Justin Fortune, he's had problems with Freddie Roach in the past. We all remember how they had sued each other before. Justin Fortune had worked with Manny Pacquiao when he first came to America, and then Fortune was the odd man out after he had a beef with Freddie Roach after the 2008 fight with Jorge Solis, where Freddie Roach felt he was still entitled to part of the purse, even though Freddie Roach was busy training Oscar De La Hoya and didn't have time to work with Manny for that fight. So they had a big parting there. It was a very ugly split. So it's, like I said, everything's run smoothly until it's time to figure out who's to blame for the loss.
Actually, Justin Fortune is saying in that interview that apparently there was a physiotherapist by the name of Dr. Sean Hampton who was working on Pacquiao's legs in the dressing room about 30 minutes before the fight. Is that normal for Manny to have somebody work on his legs 30 minutes before the fight?
Apparently not. And people will remember I believe 1985 fight with between Thomas Hearns and Marvin Hagler. Emanuel Stewart actually blamed one of Hearns's hangers-on for massaging Hearns's legs in the dressing room. Now, what he had said is that the massage before a fight, it leaves the legs spent, right? Because after a massage, what do you want to do? You want to relax, right? So it's probably not the best thing to do before a fight. And that was sort of the storyline in that fight, was that Hearns couldn't box, so he had to brawl with Marvin Hagler because of his legs. So that's the storyline that Justin Fortune is going with here. And and you have to wonder if that contributed to Manny Pacquiao looking like he didn't have legs, like his legs were done early on in the fight, and that's, people were kind of saying that's an issue with age. And yeah, it could be partially that, but what was this massage also to blame?
Is it also possible that because of how hard-headed Manny Pacquiao could be at times, right? He has the tendency to overtrain, and apparently Justin Fortune is saying that Manny even did road work. A couple of days or maybe 2 days before the weigh-in, he was still doing a bit of heavy training, and which is not advisable. But he still did it. Does this really contribute, or did this really contribute to Manny having stiff legs during the fight?
It may have, and I think that the change in opponent might be responsible for that as well, because Manny might have felt that he needed to do more or do something different from what was the original plan. Now, Manny, I believe after the 2017 loss to Jeff Horn, he realized, okay, in that fight, he overtrained and his body can't do what it used to. So he had to adjust to just giving himself more rest and making sure that he wasn't leaving it all in the gym, as they say. So Manny is that kind of fighter that you have to actually pull him back, because if you allow him, he'll train, all day. He can't train the way that he did when he was 22. And I think he has to realize that. And I thought he realized that. And now we're learning that he has he's still that kind of person that you have to harness them a bit so that they don't go out there and train, leave it in the gym, and then have nothing on fight night.
Okay, let me just go back to the point we're in as to how this conversation started, Ryan. The relationship between Justin Fortune and Freddie Roach, as you've already mentioned, has not been rosy, to say the least. But how is the relationship between Justin Fortune and Buboy Fernandez? The reason why I'm asking this, just to give you a clearer picture, is that there was a point in time wherein Justin Fortune and Buboy Fernandez, together with Marvin Somodio, were the ones that took charge of Manny's camp for the Lucas Pathesi fight. And apparently, I mean, the results are very satisfactory. And Justin Fortune is saying that, hey, come on, without Freddie, we can survive without Freddie. We don't really need Freddie in our corner anymore. What do you think of that?
Well, I think with Buboy Fernandez, he is the ultimate team player. So I once asked him about, the egos and how it worked out when he became the head trainer and Freddie was then relegated to assistant trainer. And he said, listen, I don't care who is the chief second. I don't care about getting the adulation and the attention. I just want my guy to win. So Buboy is the kind of person that he will defer to whoever is the best person at that moment to talk or to be the one who's imparting the instructions. And if Justin Fortune, who has a lot of experience, as Justin Fortune, remember, he was a heavyweight fighter. He fought Lennox Lewis. He has a lot of experience. He's owned his own gym, which is a very popular gym in LA. He knows the boxing game. If at any moment Fortune had something to add that could help the fighter, Buboy would have listened. So I think Buboy can have a good relationship, a good professional relationship with anyone. And that's why they were able to get along for a fight that was not a big fight. Matisse was, kind of past his prime. So I think Manny could have sort of trained himself for that position, but they certainly didn't get in the way of each other.
Just for a last point before we end this particular segment, how do you think if ever there'll be a next Pacquiao fight, how do you think the intramurals within the Pacquiao camp will play out if Manny retains all of them? Meaning he still wants Justin Fortune in this corner. He still wants Freddie Roach in this corner. And obviously, he's not going to let go of Buboy Fernandez. So, but how will the intramurals play out if Manny Pacquiao once again goes back into the ring?
Well, the way I think is that they've gotten along in the past, but these issues are not new. There have always been troubles. There's always been egos. There's always been people trying to find their spot. That's not going to go away. But it only comes to the light publicly when something goes wrong. So I think what you'll see is everyone saying, yeah, we're just doing our job and we're, this person doing this person doing that. And then if something goes wrong, then we'll see this sort of blame game and pointing fingers. So Manny Pacquiao is so accustomed to training in the storm and this, all these distractions around him. I don't think he'd have it any other way.